Greetings, 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 everyone. How are you? Today we are featuring Lionel B, waiting for our guest to arrive. I had a little technical difficulties in the background. You know, your girl is still growing. I got to ask Lionel for some pointers on how to navigate these YouTube streets. Come in, guys, waiting for people to come in. Come one, come all. Come one, come all. I'm going to put the link in the chat for our guest. It was sent by the dopest mod. However, I am going to put it in the chat just in case. And I'm going to ask him for some tips to help me navigate these YouTube streets because there is so much to learn. It looks effortless. It looks like you're just getting on and doing things. I want to shout out to everybody's in the house. First and foremost, when you come in, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe to let the YouTube algorithm know we're doing something here that you love. I feel like my makeup looks a little off today. However, we're not going to pay attention to that. We're going to move on. Like I said, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for being with the Dopest Nerd. You could have been anywhere in the world on your Saturday afternoon, but you chose to be here with us. Today, we are featuring the incomparable Lionel B. He is a Meteoric YouTube content creator with over 115 million views. He is an amazing young man. I met him the other day on another channel. I've been watching Lionel, but I met him on another channel. And when I tell you, I'm so excited to have him here. I'm super excited to have him here. Sis, please let Lionel know that the link is in the chat to invite him onto the stage when he arrives. Let me give a shout out to the people in the house. Shout out to the dopest mod as always. When I tell you she is on the money. Shout out to Majestic. Shout out to my girl Chesahilia. That is my sis, honey. Everybody get some love to Chessa and the dopest mod and to all of yourselves. Let's give each other a hand. Shout out to Cookie. What kind of cookie are you, Cookie? Chocolate chip? Macadamia nut? Tell us. Let us know. Shout out to Gary B444. Lakeisha Garland, my girl Lakeisha. What's up, baby? Shout out to Lisa Bruno. Everybody in the house. You know the rules. When you come in, take your shoes off. Happy Sabbath, sis. Take your shoes off at the door. Be sure to grab a pair of comfy socks. Our fuzzy socks which will be available in our merch soon. Grab a pair of cozy socks out of the basket, put them on, jump on the couch, make yourself comfortable. The dopest mod is in the chat. Please give her your drink orders. It's a Saturday afternoon. Let's pour some libations. What are you drinking? And tell us a little about how your day is going until our guest is ready to join us. Please forgive me when I look off screen. I'm trying to make sure I'm professional on my channel. How you guys been doing today, though? How's your day going so far? Oh, I hear that a little ginger tea in the house. Oh, Cookie says she's a chocolate chip. Go, Cookie. Shout out to the chocolate chips. Ain't nothing like an old reliable. We are waiting for our guests to come on. It is a Saturday afternoon. You know how it is. People doing their things. We got family duties going on. As you all know, your dopest, your trusty dusty show producer niece. You know, we got some mommy things going on. She's a senior, a lot of senior things. Most of what I do now outside of YouTube and my own personal life stuff is mommy, high school senior stuff. The dopest mod is in the chat. Give me one moment, guys. I shall return momentarily. Now that I understand why I feel that way, I control the wheel, right, of me mastering whether to go with that, how many times to go with that. Because you could have an impulse to do something. I had an impulse to say something. Nope, wait a minute, I'm not a slave to that thought. Right?
Why? Because it doesn't play out what the type of result that I want. And that's what man learned to be a master, so he has control over self, because self is always
Hey,
self is always trying to do stuff.
shout out to the nerd herd. Thank you guys for being here. I love you guys so much. I've been getting so much overwhelmingly positive feedback from you guys. You have no idea how much it means to me. You guys rock on another level. I promise you. I am just in awe of your kindness, your majesty, all that good stuff. And I always want to make sure that I'm telling you that. Sometimes when we get so comfortable with people, we forget to tell them how much they matter or how much we love them and all that stuff. But I want to make sure that I'm always letting you guys know. Thank you so much. While we're waiting for Lionel to arrive, I'll be sure to let's acknowledge. See, your trusty dusty niece is texting me now. I'm glad your day is blessed and that you woke up. Grand Rising family, Grand Rising, Sister Soul, Majestic, Herding Cats. Meow. Everybody in the chat, all of those who are not in the chat. Thank you, Queen. I appreciate that as well. And thank you so much. I appreciate that. You know, like I always tell people, my mommy will be happy to hear that. You know what I mean? She raised me right. And I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. You have been giving me such positive affirmations. And to all of you who have sent me your emails and sent me emails, thank you so much. God bless you all. Like, you guys are amazing. Let me turn my phone on silence.
Which deals with systemic parasite. That's different than the little ones that you talk about in your code. There's all kinds of different levels of them. Subconscious can be a parasite. You can have a mental parasite because it is the repetition of pleasure or pain.
We are waiting for our guest.
The repetition of pleasure.
He will be in the chat with us shortly. Hey, everybody. Hey. Thank you. I certainly will, Sister Soul. I will keep on with my truth. Let me put the little banner on. For those of you who want to show love to your channel, to your home, by all means, do so. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. Hey, joy to the world. I called you, girl. You ain't gonna return my call. Thank you. Listen, Lily Players. I appreciate that wholeheartedly. Hey, Denisha Scott. Hey, Harlem NY. I don't want to miss anybody. Making sure I acknowledge all my cousins, because you know how it be. You know when you come to grandmama house. Loza, TTT Tractor, or TT Tractor. I want to make sure I don't miss none of my cousins, because you know when the cousin group chat, then it'd be like, you know, she ain't say hi to me at the family reunion. I'm not going to neglect anybody here. Hold on one second. Let me see what's keeping our brother. Let me see what's keeping our brother.
Right now, I can tell you the easy way to make lots of money. Stop your heart. It's actually pretty easy. I've done it over and over. But that's not my thing. I realized it wasn't the money. It was the people, helping people. My why is to help people.
I'm going to go on silent for a moment.
You gotta be cold minded. Why the heck is there always a genie in these old movies?
We're just waiting for our brother Lionel B to come to the chat. How is everybody doing on this amazing Saturday? Dory, Angel, Atasham, hey honey. Miss Gemini, hey Miss Gemini, how are you? If I go mute, guys, I'm just reaching out to our guest.
Okay, now we got something. Now, can you imagine the beach?
You know your girl's still navigating these YouTube streets.
Your eyesight is not your best. You've been getting Photoshop since day one from the movie. Your eyesight is triple. Your eyes are seeing what you desire to see. I want to go to your gut. Feel it as if you're there. Be at the beach. Can you feel the sand? I don't know if I can feel nervous. They start crying and everything. I need you to feel the sand. Imagine.
So tell me what's new with you guys. If our guest has an issue and a schedule of conflict and he doesn't pop on, you know we are always together at Big Mama's house. And once we get together at Big Mama's house, you see me fixing my hair. And, you know, it's always those little hairs that want to just stick out and act, do their own thing. Absolutely. Lionel is amazing. We had an amazing conversation. I really enjoyed speaking with him. We met through another platform, and I really, really enjoyed speaking with him. And, you know, he expressed the desire to come on, and I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to it. I thoroughly enjoyed talking with him. What y'all been up to? What's new? Have you guys seen my latest live, the one we did yesterday? I know it was a bit froggy in it, I will admit. I get froggy a little from time to time. But you know, sometimes, here's the thing. Martin Luther King, the incomparable Martin Luther King that everyone loves so much.
Who died? Who this? Who that? I'm still mad at such. I need to cut them out tomorrow. You are programming and planting seeds in the fertile subconscious earth.
Don't mind my distraction. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Oh, is it 7:15 in the UK? Waiting for our bro. Where you at, Lionel? Where you at, bro? Where you at, bro? Oh, there he is.
His grave is somewhere up. They talk about all this stuff. You ain't said nothing right now that your body's gonna actually be able to do. It's confusing. And it's talking.
Hold on one second, guys. Let me go mute.
Now when you
All right, guys. Your boy Lionel's about to come in. He's about to join. And make sure you know how it is when we at Big Mama house. Now, when we got company, y'all better act like y'all know. Give Lionel some love. You guys are aware of Lionel on your own from these YouTube streets, and give our brother some love. Where's my other pair of glasses? Let me put on the signatures. So this here live. He shall be jumping on momentarily. Y'all better act like y'all know. You know what grandma say? Put on your best behavior when we got company. And yes, that live was really good. Yeah. Shine Bomber, we gonna call him. Shine Bomber. Because we don't want to disrespect the incomparable Barack Obama. But he's Shine Bomber. Or Shine Bomber. Whatever we're gonna call it.
That's the problem, is most people never do anything long enough to get results. Right?
Let's see, let me sign. You know, I gotta switch between these readers and these stunners. Readers and the stunners. Readers and the stunners. But let me create a shareable link. Copy this link. Our guest of the hour, Lionel, will be jumping on momentarily. And when he jumps on, I want you all to welcome our brother. I'm still here, guys.
And when you learn how to have a process, when you become a pro, right? And so in life, when you want to pick up a new habit, it's not about force. Right?
I'm still here, guys. Just making sure he gets the link.
What do we already do? All right, and how can I attach the things that are
all right?
Right. So it's like if you want to create more content, you gotta wake up in the morning and create the content.
Let me send it to our brother.
Right. So what do? You wake up, you brush your teeth. What are you gonna do right after you do that thing that you're consistent in? So you attach something to that.
And y'all, I'm gonna ask Lionel for a whole bunch of tips, and I'm gonna have to get a tutoring session from Lionel so I can master YouTube. Because baby, I'm gonna get those tips from Lionel so I can master YouTube. Because when I tell you, I am quite the novice, and I try to live. I like mastery. I like to do things and be an expert. In fact, I was on the phone with one of my girlfriends today, Chessa. She's on the line right now. And she said to me today, let me tell you something, Eb. You don't tolerate less than excellence. You don't tolerate that from your children. You don't tolerate that from anyone. And I was so tough because sometimes God is going to send you your people to remind you of who you are. Sometimes we get so mired in our day-to-day lives that we don't think about who we are. We don't think about who we are. And my goodness, spirit of excellence. There she goes. Shout out to my sis, Chessa Hilliard. That's my homie Pastromi. Okay. Can't nobody tell me about Chessa. Nobody. And we should all have that. I got a couple of friends that I'm telling you, nobody can tell me about them. When our brother comes in, please give him a welcome, a round of applause, and I just got off the phone with our brother Lionel, so he's logging on. You just give him a moment. I love you to life too. We are forever locked in. We are forever locked in. It has been a pleasure to, it's for God's purpose. To God be the glory why he is making me come into the company of lots of people and get to know a lot of people and to get this story out. Because not for 1 second is it simply about me. It is about making sure that the truth prevails. And so whatever I do, trust me, the truth is in the middle of it. I'm not here about 5 minutes of fame or 15 minutes of fame. I got stuff I could do around this house. Stuff that I owe myself that I need to do around this house. However, I love you guys. I love interacting with you guys. I totally enjoy it. And I'm going to always get this truth out. And if I can do it with all my cousins, my entire nerd herd cousin, will by all means, I'm going to do so. You know how it is. You can have cousins. You can have beef with your cousins because that's just real life. Sometimes we have beef. But guess what? When we all get to Big Mama house, it's on. We are a whole tribe, a unit that moves together. And can't nobody stop that. Ain't no stopping us now. We're on the go. Shout out to McFadden and Whitehead. Because y'all know there's been so many things that's held us down. But now it looks like things are finally coming around. I know we got a long, long way to go. And where we end up, I don't know. But we're going to do it, and we're going to do it together. I'm excited about what this is, what this looks like. Thank you so much. You know what? When I tell you I can feel people's energy through that screen, no matter what the medium is. I don't care if it's TV. I don't care if it's the internet. I can feel energy through the screen. Vibrational frequencies are strong. And when you are tapped in and tuned in, Nothing can keep you from that. And when I tell you, he asked to speak to me. It's why I came on. I had no intention. I had no intention of going on yesterday. But when they're reaching out to me saying, he said, can we get in touch with Natanya? I want to speak to her. I said, absolutely. It's my pleasure. Absolutely. And so I made myself available for that. Thank you. Kaya Tamba, I appreciate that. Kaye, because I like to pronounce people's names properly. I appreciate you for saying that. Kaye said, you're a real inspiration. You have been a real inspiration for my path of life and truth. Also, my first name is Kaye, means a gift sent by God too. I'm of Kenyan descent. Greetings, my Kenyan sister. How are you? Thank you, guys. The love is overwhelming. The love is overwhelming. And I always tell people, never get lost on passionate delivery and things like that, because you'll miss the message. Like, I was on someone else's platform, someone I met in the process, and she asked me to come onto her platform. And I met her on Sean Fab. I came onto her platform, and we had coming in the studio is our brother. But our sister, someone was on a comment, and in spite of listening to the narrative that I'm a woman who got shot in the face and I'm telling my tale of the 25 years of suffering and making it through, this woman got upset because I talked about our culture or ethnicities take their shoes off at the door. I was like, sister, we can unfold this if you need to and unpack it. But I want to present to you now our brother Lionel B in his house. Let's give him a round of applause. Throw some applause in the chat. Give my brother some applause.
Yo, yo, yo.
Greetings, my brother. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I am phenomenal. First and foremost, welcome to the Nerd Herd family. Now, you in the Nerd Herd family.
All right now. What's up, Nerd Herd?
Hey, give our brother some love in that chat, y'all. Thank you so much for being here. We thoroughly appreciate you being here. And like I said, we talked the other day, and what an amazing conversation. Shout out to Grandma Lynn for the super sticker. I'm learning. And listen, I need to take a tutoring session with you for this YouTube thing, because, baby, whenever I tell you, I have technical difficulties.
Uh-oh.
I'm still getting the hang of it. I'm a little older, call it seasoned.
Not much older than me, though. You're not much older than me.
Well, good. Look how we aging. We on our Benjamin Buttons-ish.
There you go.
Brother. And I promise you. So Grandma Lynn said, God's timing is perfect. You're here for such a time as this. Shout out, Grandma Lynn. I appreciate you. Indeed. So, brother, welcome to our channel. Please, by all means, introduce yourself to the Nerd Herd family.
What's up, everybody? This is your boy Lionel B from the Lionel B Show. I'm a YouTuber. I guess you can call me celebrity news. I do celebrity news and things like that, man. Some of you guys may have got a chance to catch some of my crazy videos I'll be doing.
Not crazy videos, great. Especially please tell the people about your incomparable viral video that made your channel ascend to the heights that it is and got you to this place.
Oh, man. Okay, so the viral video, I actually did a video with Jay-Z and Offset. It looks like they were having kind of like a altercation. Never expected that video to do the numbers that it did. It just, I think within a few hours, it went up to over 1 million views. Currently, right now, that video is at about 9.2 million. So that's like insane for a celebrity blogger to get those type of numbers. So I was really blessed and fortunate, to be able to have that opportunity to meet a lot of success in YouTube. And actually, guys, I did that video when I was actually homeless. I was living out of my car when I actually put that video out, and it forever changed my life.
So tell me a little something. What did you want to be when you grow up? What were your thoughts as a kid? What were your aspirations? Oh,
wow. I forgot, man. It's been so long ago since I've been a kid, but I think I wanted to be a lawyer because at one point when I was younger, I enjoyed arguing. I hate arguing now, but when I was younger, I think I kind of wanted to be, it was either a lawyer or a doctor because I like taking care of people. A lot of my family, like they'll call me with their problems. I'll get them a diagnosis over the phone and sounds like this. And most of the time I'm right. So I'm like, damn, maybe I had another life as a doctor or a healer or some point.
Indeed. And first of all, let me just tell you that we have that in common. I wanted to be an attorney when I grew up too. I literally loved, because facts would stay in my head. So I could
Mhm.
always recall something like, hold on a second. Last Saturday at 2 p.m. while we were watching the Flintstones, you said, and
Mhm.
people would be like, what is her problem? So I had that in common too. And I'm the medicine woman of the family. So what a dope thing to have in common.
Yeah, for
Good thing to
sure.
have in common.
For
So what was
sure.
the first sign that things in your life started to go off the rails? You mentioned that you were homeless. What was the
Mhm.
first sign that you knew something was off?
Just the when I was in that relationship with that young lady, it was just the amount of disrespect. Like, I think for a man, when when he has to move in with a woman and he quote unquote kind of needs her, I mean, I think sometimes they'll kind of tend to take advantage of the man, especially when he's at a low point. So unfortunately, I crossed paths with her, and she had that type of character to where she was very manipulative, knowing that I had nowhere else to go. I didn't really have anything to my name. I
Mhm.
was just kind of there. I did get a job while I lived there, but she would take my whole paycheck. It was like crazy stuff like that.
Ooh,
So
that's cool.
at that point, I was very miserable. I was actually when I was living there, I started drinking a lot. Like, I was very depressed.
Oh,
It was a really bad situation. So I really feel like God delivered me from that.
mm.
But had he not brought me into that relationship, I wouldn't be a YouTuber today. Like, I wouldn't have never found that YouTube space to, for me to live out my purpose.
So what I hear you saying is trust the process.
Absolutely.
Trust the process, even when it feels like you are in a situation in the muck and the mire where you don't want to be.
Right.
Keep your
Absolutely.
eyes focused to God. What gave you the drive? What gave you the perseverance to keep pursuing, you know, to make a change and to overcome it? Where'd you find that perseverance in yourself?
I think I'm pretty much in that little hot two-seater car that me and my son lived in. I got to a point to where it was either I was going to do some crime
Mhm,
and I was going to go to prison for the rest of my life and lose my son and lose my smaller children and
mhm,
all of that. So it was a point of desperation, and it was like, okay, either I can trust God and I can be patient and allow for him to to do some things, to manifest some things within me, or I can grab this assault rifle that I have in the trunk of my car and I can just go rob somebody. So um I felt a calm come over me, and I felt a presence saying, be patient. I didn't bring you this far to leave you here.
mm.
So and that's all I needed. I had the faith the size of a mustard seed at that point. I was
Ooh,
pretty much at my low end. There was no promises. There weren't really any family helping me out with anything. They honestly, I kind of felt like they they thought that I put myself in that position, which I know I didn't. But I didn't want to be a crybaby crying on the phone like, oh, my life is so bad. I just, okay, fine. I didn't even ask to go live with anybody. I just like, you know what? Me and my son, we're gonna make it on our own, and I'm never giving up on him.
mm.
His mother made a decision to give me full custody when he was only 3 years old. At this point, he's 14. So I'm with him this long in his life. I'm not gonna bail on him when things get bad.
Indeed.
Now, it would have been way more easier had it just been me, without having a kid damn near my size trying to figure out how we're gonna eat every day. The selfish thing would have been like, okay, let me just pawn him off somewhere and let me just take care of myself. But I was determined that we were gonna make it together.
That's so beautiful. And you talk about being a parent. I can relate to that wholeheartedly. And I'm sure so many Nerd Herd family members, as well as the public at large that's going to watch this, the replay gang, can relate to that. How important was being a parent in your life? You
It, wa-
know,
was that a question or were you just
absolutely a question. How
okay, okay.
important?
Man, being a parent, honestly, that's been like the biggest blessing. And I know that's kind of strange coming from a man, but I've been a single parent for many years. But um, to me, my son, you always get me. See, you always get me.
Come on with it.
We grew up together. I became a single parent with him. I was around 27.
Mhm,
So he was born in 2004. So yeah, so around 27, because me and his mom was previously together.
mhm.
We end up splitting up and all of that. And once I went and got my own place, I just felt like this huge emptiness in my heart. It's like I didn't even know how to be single. I didn't know how to be on my own. You know, being on my own was fine, not being in a relationship, but not being that parent every day, it was awful. So I reached out to her. He wasn't happy. I would get him every weekend after work and stuff like that. And he would cry, and that would break my heart.
When he was going back, he was
going back, yes, he would cry, and that just killed my whole week. Like I couldn't function. I was like, oh my God, my little dude, like what's going on? And when me and his mom was together, like, he loved her a lot. So I'm like, well, why isn't he a little bit more happy? I know he loves dad too, but why is he like crying and breaking down? So that really bothered me. And one day I confronted her. I'm like, well, why is he crying every time I bring him home? She got really pissed off. And well, I said, not knowing that she would agree, I said, well, let me keep him. I'll make sure he's good. I'll take care of him. And her thing was, as long as you don't put me on child support, go ahead. I'm like,
okay.
Well, that's it. I said, yo, I'll be there in like 10 minutes. Have all this stuff ready. And it was, we were together ever since.
First and foremost, shout out to you. Because here's the deal. First and foremost, it speaks to the character of the man that you are, that you were insightful enough to see that dichotomy presenting itself, and that you were willing to take that challenge on. A lot of men are not willing to take that challenge on. They might recognize those signs, but their mentality is, if I say something, then I'm going to be responsible to take him. They can criticize, but they won't jump in with both feet and say, I'll do the job. So what a refreshing breath of fresh air to hear you say that and to see you walk that walk.
Absolutely.
It's rare. It's dope. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
I thank you. Thank you for even saying that. Because here's the deal. So many single moms, we stay because we feel that obligation, and it's just innate in us to take care of our child. We carried them in our womb. There's an old saying in the culture, mommy's baby, daddy's maybe, because a lot of fathers are so comfortable walking away.
Right.
A lot of mothers would never do. Some do, but most don't.
Right.
What a refreshing thing for us women to hear that.
And I was raised in a single parent home. I was raised by my mother. So being that I really didn't have a really great relationship with my dad, he wasn't really around much. That inspired me to, be a better parent. Cause I'm like, I will never allow my children to feel the way that I felt, or to be kind of made to feel like you're not important by your parent. And that's pretty much how I felt. My dad got remarried, he got into another relationship. We're cool now. We have a relationship now, but growing up, I kind of felt like the issues he had with my mom, he kind of resented us because of it.
So what I hear you saying is the void that was created by their disagreements and the void that was created in your life by not having your father, you were committed to not replicating that with your son.
Absolutely.
How dope.
Absolutely.
You mentioned your mom. Tell us about your mom, because she sounds like an amazing woman, and she raised a man.
Yes, my mom was a huge inspiration for me from the beginning all the way to the end. Even a little bit before I got on the YouTube platform. I think me and my son, we probably stayed there maybe a week. And after that, I had to go. I'm like, no wonder I left home at 18. Love my mom to death, but we just could not live together. And that was a blessing as well, because again, me having to be out on my own, it inspired me. It gave me this drive, this burning fire to figure out a lane in order to change our lives. And that's when God showed up and said, here you go. And, when I got back onto YouTube, I had $38 in my account. For y'all that's not familiar, AdSense, we get paid from AdSense through YouTube. I had $38 from a channel that I didn't even really do anything on. It was like kind of like a couples prank channel type of thing we were doing. I was no longer in that particular relationship, the lady that introduced me to YouTube. But I had money in the account. So I'm like, we don't do the prank thing anymore. I'm not in this relationship anymore. What do I like to do on YouTube, and how could I maybe turn this $38 into $100? Because I needed $100 at least to be able to cash out from YouTube. So I'm desperate. I'm like, damn, no jobs are calling me back. I couldn't figure out how to make any type of money. We were begging everything, like in front of gas stations. Like, I kid you guys not, asking for change. Like, seriously, that's how bad it got. So And I've never told that story before, not even to the news. So you got the exclusive on that one.
Hey, you.
Yeah. So I was just looking on YouTube scrolling one day and I'm like, and I'm like, I kept seeing news stories of celebrities and all that. And then I started watching. I'm like, man, literally all they're doing is like they're taking pictures and they're talking on top of the pictures and they're getting all these views. I'm like, that's so easy. I could do it. Matter of fact, I could do it even better. So I threw a shot in the dark, guys, because every YouTuber don't make it. Like a lot of people start channels, they're around for years and they never really go viral or, you know, let alone even are able to be blessed enough to make a living on it. So I threw a shot in the dark and didn't know what was going to happen. I think the first video I put out, it got like 500 views a day. And I'm like, whoa, like I'm thinking like that's like numbers. I'm like, oh my God. Whoa, you know, and I think I made like a couple dollars on it, kept going. I did another video. That one did really well. I made like $15. So me and my son, we're in the car in the middle in Florida in the hot sun. Can't turn on the car because we're going to waste gas and don't have no money to get gas in there. So one day I'm just sitting there in the car, windows down, and I'm like looking at my AdSense account. Yo, we made another $15. So my son like look at me like, really? Like $15? Like, what are we gonna do? You know, but I kept grinding, kept doing it. Before you know it, that 15 was like 100 and something. So I'm like, damn, okay, we made enough to be able to get gas. But you know, God was like, oh no, I'm not done yet. Kept going. And then I think maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks later, I put out this video where I was actually outdoor at the hotel. I snuck into the hotel to you know, to use their Wi-Fi and just for us to be out of the car somewhere. You know, we're hanging out by the pool. End up doing this one video, the views just automatically 100,000 like the first hour. I'm like, no way. I'm thinking like, okay, something's broken with this because I didn't have that many subscribers at the time. I had maybe 4,000, maybe 5,000. I'm like, no. So a day goes by. At this point, we're approaching 1 million, like 700,000. I'm seeing the AdSense number climb up there, and now there's commas. Like, so we're out of the hundreds. I think now we're at like 5, 6, 7,000. I'm like, wow, they're not gonna send me this money. The whole time I'm thinking, I'm like, something's gonna happen. You know, I know, I'm like, God is good, but I don't know, is he this good? So before you know it, it had got to like 13,000.
Wow.
And I was still like, nah, they're not gonna send me this money. So it wasn't until the money hit my bank account to where I was like, this is really real.
Wow. God is amazing.
And I was actually getting turned down by companies because I had a computer background. I know a little bit about computers. So I was applying for IT jobs, and this one company, they saw me doing YouTube. Like, meanwhile, I'm waiting on this interview. I did an interview, killed the interview. And they were like, oh, you know, I think it's a conflict of interest because they were like a news station. Yeah, that you work in the IT department. We just Googled you. We see you're doing videos. So I kind of was down, but then it felt great to call them and be like, you know what? I don't need your job. You know, I got something way better going on, but thank you for the opportunity.
Let me tell you something. I love the fact, and first and foremost, thank you for feeling comfortable enough and trusting me enough with that part of the story that you've never shared before. You know what I heard when you said that?
What's that?
Asking for change. God was saying, and I say this to people all the time, if I can trust you with little, I can trust you with the much. God was letting you know, I see you, brother. Let me see what you're willing to do for your son and yourself so I can give you the rewards that I have in store for you. And your willingness to put your pride aside or whatever to say, hey, can you help me out? I have a child. I need to. The willingness to stand firm and do that because you knew you had a child. God said, oh, there you go. You just bust right through that lining of protection. And God said, I got you. I got you. And I'm so proud of you. So many people always, you know, people love to say, if I was you, I would, or I wouldn't do. Love to talk about what we wouldn't do or what you need to do. But you never know what you're going to do until you're in that position. And
now, let me tell you what I really feel like was the biggest act of humility, because that same particular job, now, mind you, you know, I'm homeless. So in Florida, specifically Tampa, Florida, we have like these huge parks, like, you know, parks for people to go out and hang out with the gazebos and all that. So years ago, I had visited a park and I knew there were actually outlets in there. So, you know, I went and got some of my clothes out of the storage. I got me a towel and actually sat in the gazebo at one of the picnic tables, ironing my clothes to go to the job interview. That same job interview that turned me down. It was absolutely embarrassing, but you know what? I didn't care because I knew I was trying to get us into a better situation. So, you know, I didn't care how many people were around. I'm like, you know what? It don't even matter at this point because
that's
I'm at rock bottom and I'm trying to do better.
Well, listen, I think that song started from the bottom. Now we're here. It was made for
yeah.
I love it. First of all, it's not lost on me that your son must feel an overwhelming amount of pride at the steps that his father was willing to take. Like that's what builds the character of a man. A lot of people went through struggles in their youth. You know, mama was struggling. She was a single parent. She might have shopped at the thrift stores. I know people that hate thrift stores.
That's
what they had when they were little. I love a thrift store. I'll go to a thrift store before I ever go to Macy's or anything. Like, I love thrift stores. A lot of times people fail to realize it is the struggle that made us who we are.
That's real.
When they overcome their struggle and they attain a level of success, they now try to lay out a foundation. And we're all guilty of that to some degree. Lay out a foundation of cushy life for our children. And then we say, these young people don't appreciate that. They don't know how good they got it because you remove the struggle.
Right.
A little bit of struggle ain't going to kill nobody. A little bit of struggle, good. It make you solid. It's what we endured that gave us the character and the staying power that we have. I be telling my girlfriends now, listen, girl, let the lights get cut off every so often. Maybe let the lights get cut off. Let them kids see that it could be gone. I don't care if it's for a day or two. It don't mean you ain't got the money. Let them see, watch how they rebound. Some of these kids will be lost with them. You know what they all say. Your mother got to say hi to auntie such as, what's your Wi-Fi password?
Exactly.
Could you imagine them in a house for 2 days with no electricity?
They would go crazy.
But it is going to give them character. It builds character. Struggle builds character. It's laughable. It's so funny to hear, and it's so simple. We removed
prior to even YouTube and being homeless. Like, I had a 9-to-5, and my lights was still getting cut off back then. So I know that feeling. Like, I know I know them tough times for sure.
I done had a light cut off a time or two, and I done let the light cut off a time or two. I'm not above saying, "Oh, really? Okay." Hey, there's something to be developed out of struggle. And I think this life, I tell people all the time, this life we're living is a school. Life is a school. All of these things that are put before us is just to test us. They're quizzes. They're pop quizzes. When something strange happens out of nowhere, God is like, when you walk into class and the teacher's like, we got a quiz before class starts. You're like, oh Lord, I ain't studied. God gives us pop quizzes.
Life is just like a how I like to refer to it is it's like boot camp. Like, only strong survive.
That's right.
He places obstacles in front of you. You know, you gotta make it through. Are you gonna succumb to, being weak, or are you gonna show strength? But it's definitely worth it to to go through those battles, because there's something better on the other side for sure.
Ooh, baby, the grass is absolutely greener over there.
Oh yeah. It's nice over here. I love it.
Listen, I'm trying to get over there where you at. I'm gonna get over to my brother. So once you succeeded, once you made it, what was your most, what inspired you as a content creator? What was your intent? Like, what was your goal now? Like, okay, I made it over this hump. I mean, an amazing hump. You had a meteoric rise on YouTube, which is not common. What did you set your sights on once you got to that point?
To never have to work for anybody else ever again. That was my biggest thing. It's like, okay, so I went viral. So now what? Can I do it again? So from there, of course, I kept creating content, and I have a really big background in doing video editing. I've been doing that over 20 years, even before I got on YouTube. So I'm like, man, this is a perfect spot, and I like to run my mouth. So I'm like, man, God, can it get any better than this? So that was my main thing. It was like just being consistent, being able to take care of my family, being able to provide for my family, provide for myself, and never really having to go do another 9-to-5. Because at that point, it's just, it was just really, it would be so strange just to go back into that environment where people are not really having value for you. So I'm not saying there's anything wrong with a 9-to-5, but I just feel sometimes you feel undervalued. You got to kill yourself working for people, and oftentimes they don't appreciate you. You retire, they want to send you an email or give you a little crazy watch or something. Like, I just feel like we're undervalued sometimes as employees.
You're 100% right. I've always been an entrepreneur. Of course, I've worked for the government, I worked for private industry, nonprofit, but I love being an entrepreneur. I started as an entrepreneur extremely young in life. I started braiding hair in the neighborhood, and I was like 9 years old, 11 years old, braiding people's hair. I did my first head of extensions at 13. A girl was visiting her cousin from Canada, and she saw me braiding hair, and she was like, "Do you do extensions?" I ain't never done an extension. You know what I said? Of course I do. I went to that store. I had my grandmother's mannequin. I practiced and practiced till that mannequin had long hair. And when that girl came a couple of days later, so did she. So it's all about being willing to take the opportunity, not being afraid. What kind of advice would you give to an aspiring YouTube creator? Not unlike myself, but on other people. What would you say to them would be a good avenue to pursue?
Avenue, I mean, I think that's really more comfortable. Well, more so like, what are you comfortable with creating? For instance, my brother, he's wanting to get into YouTube space. I've been telling him for years and years. I'm like, bro, you better come get this money. You keep complaining about your job. You know what I'm saying? You see what I went through, and you see I'm living pretty well, thank God. When you gonna take my advice? So finally one day, he got an idea, something he would be comfortable with. So now he's doing like vlogging. He's kind of going to different cities and states and countries, and he's doing the vlog type of stuff. He's actually just getting started this week, matter of fact.
Wonderful.
I've been harassing him for like 6 years, but
and everything in God's timing and people's timing.
Absolutely.
I want you to make sure that you put your brother's link in the chat so everybody can follow him. And everybody that's on this channel, I know you guys all know Lionel. Please follow Lionel right now. Go leave a comment on his videos, and let's we're gonna do this thing. We're gonna connect and make sure we all get this. Let me ask you a question.
Oh, hold on. Other part in terms of like inspiring the people for YouTube.
I'm sorry.
No, you're cool. So, and also guys, it's not like an overnight process. Like it happens different for everyone. Yeah. But even if you're spending weeks and months, you're uploading content, don't get discouraged, because that moment you may decide to quit, that could be the moment that you actually go viral and your numbers are going to go crazy. You're going to make, a good amount of money, and you're just going to love it, So don't upload and be like, oh, damn, like, nobody watched my video, because, there's an algorithm behind it. So, you definitely want to make sure you hook people with the content. Yeah. You want to be objective with the content. You want to be, just because you made it and it's your baby, you have a close connection to that product. But don't be so connected to it to where if it's really not that good to anybody but you, you're wondering why nobody else likes it. Maybe it's not good content. Maybe you just like it because you made it. So look at it objectively. Well, play it back and say, hey, would anybody else enjoy this? Take yourself out of the project. Don't get too connected to any particular video. Now, if you strongly believe in it, maybe take that video down, save it for another time, try another video, try uploading something different, because you just never know what's going to spark your audience.
That is very sage and sound advice. What are I lost my train. That's that senior moment. Okay, of your stories that you covered, outside of the 9.2 million viral, what do you consider your most impactful story?
I think the latest one, that would be with Adria English. She's one of Diddy's victims. Yeah. She was at quite a few of the parties. I think that one, just the amount of feedback. I mean, that one's almost hit 1 million. So it's really not, for me, not so much the views, it's more so the feedback, reading some of the comments, how she's inspiring people to tell their truth. And they're like, they're really reaching out to her and, really understanding some of the things she went through with with Diddy.
Indeed. Let me tell you something. As a firsthand victim, I get it. And here's the thing. I've watched a lot of her interviews. I found myself with the inability to completely watch straight through. I have to step away and come back because I can feel the pain. I can feel her pain through the screen, and it is palpable. It is palpable. And so I'm happy that she has the opportunity to tell her story. I would love to talk to her as well.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like I have something that I need to say to her, to reach her in a particular kind of way, because I can feel the sadness in her. And it really, really hurts my feelings that she's had to endure all this. A lot of people have their comments. You know, people have to remember they are a step removed because they're just taking this in and watching it as a consumer of information. It's a whole other thing when you're in the midst of the story. When you're a part of the story, it's your life. Like, you know, you can't help but to, and I tell people, the thing about the truth is it doesn't require memory because it rolls off your tongue like water. It's just in you. You don't have to think about it. You can just relate it. And it's so beautiful that she's having the opportunity to tell a story. I think it's so dope. And
my hats go off to both of y'all because I'm just, you know, the median in between giving people the information. You guys are the true victims that actually live some of those horrific things. So my hats goes off to you guys, and a lot of compassion going forward to you all. I can't imagine going through any of that stuff y'all went through.
Thank you so much. I thoroughly appreciate it. You'd be surprised. I'm always humbled by that because even in talking to some people, everybody doesn't necessarily say that. Some people will just be like, thank you for coming on my show. But when you hear people actually say, I feel a level of compassion for you, what you endured, it touches you. It touches you deep. So I appreciate that. Now,
yeah, that's the difference between the people with souls and the ones that just want views. You know, there's real people on YouTube as well.
Yep. And that is why you have now, am I correct? You've had in these years now 115 million views. Well, did I get that number correct?
Right now it's about at 127 million.
Whoa. Yeah. How dope is that?
Love it. And I didn't even realize until I looked at my total views one day. And I think when I finally discovered like it totals up all your views on a certain part of YouTube. This is when my mom was still alive. And we were talking one night and, you know, we're just having a little convo like I always did. I used to call her like 3-4 times a day. And I was like, man, I said, Mom, this thing say I got like 50 million views on my channel. She was like, what? I was like, yeah, like 50 million, you know? So, you know, the viral video wasn't just a fluke. Like, you know, I was getting a bunch of views and I didn't really pay attention. I'm just like, you know, I'm looking at per video, like, okay, this one did this, but I never like looked at all of them and was like, damn, you know? So at that point it was like 50 million. And that to me back then, that was a lot. I'm like, geez.
It is a lot. Still a lot.
It's quite a bit.
That tells me that God is using you. He has some almighty work for you to do. What other areas of life are you interested in? What are other projects that you have focused that you want to be able to bring to the public? Because your voice definitely has power and God is using you. What else do you
like that? And
calling you to?
I feel like that. I was always told that. My grandma, when I was born, she actually nicknamed me Pawpaw. And the reason why she called me that, because she said I look like an old preacher man. Like even when I was young, she said I had this level of seriousness about me. And I guess I used to just kind of sit up and look like an old man or whatever. And, you know, a lot of churches would say that as well. Like they said I had a pretty good spirit and I was being called to do something, but I didn't really know exactly what it was. But I mean, I like teaching. I like motivating. You know, I think that would probably be more so my ministry. Inspirational speaker. I always inspire, you know, everybody that's around me, friends and family, my children, my son. He just moved out. The one we were in the car with, he just turned 20. So I'm always constantly, even still, inspiring him now that he has his own thing going on. And every other day, at least, if not every day, I try to inspire him with some words of encouragement. And, you know, keep pushing because he wants to be an entrepreneur as well.
Go, Daddy.
I'm like, you take baby steps, bro.
You're giving hot preacher vibes with your red only. I can see you in the pulpit. You threw something in my spirit just now.
Okay.
The fact that you like to be a public speaker and a teacher and things like that. Someone asked me the other day when I was on a platform, am I doing a tour? I should be going to speak at churches and things like that. Let's talk about that further. Offline.
Yeah, for
Let's
sure.
talk about possibly going, maybe grabbing another couple of YouTubers and going on a tour.
Okay.
We can talk at churches. We can talk at lots of places. There's a story of inspiration here. And I think it's dynamic and the possibilities are endless.
Okay.
You definitely, when I tell you, you inspire me, when I was looking at those numbers, I was like 115 million. I was like, whoa. That has got to feel in a space where so many people are trying to accomplish whether they call it greatness or just a living wage or whatever in this medium, in this platform, to have gotten numbers that are so outrageously big. Most people will never attain those. You got to know that God is calling you, that you are something special.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for for saying that, because sometimes when this is what you do, sometimes we kind of get caught up, not saying we don't appreciate it, but it's a very competitive industry.
Oh, absolutely.
So I think a lot of the times I don't really kind of dwell on like the total number, like we're just trying to go video by video pretty much. And I'm pretty sure a lot of other YouTubers kind of feel the same way. We're like, okay, well, this video didn't perform well, so on this next one, we got to make sure we kill it. But I've even seen people get to really high amount of subscribers, and all of a sudden their views start dropping.
Oh,
so,
wow.
And that's depressing as hell. Huh?
What do you think that's attributed to?
There's a few things that it could be. Maybe not being as consistent, or maybe just kind of being lazy, honestly, because I can kind of tell with some of the people. I'm not going to name their names, but some of my peers that we kind of have the same amount of subscribers and whatnot, and their views are probably significantly less. Oftentimes they'll kind of edit lazily, like they'll say whatever, and then they'll maybe just take someone's clip and let it run for like 10-15 minutes. People get tired of that. People can tell the difference. Like if you really put in time and you try to make it interesting and you try to engage your audience, like that goes a long way. Like I know views are important and everybody trying to make money, but it's the level of effort you put into your content that people appreciate the most.
Indeed.
I did a video. I did a video the other day. It was 1 hour and 20 minutes and the watch time was crazy on it. Like it did really good and people enjoyed it. And it was a long ass video. So
my lives are pretty long. I'm trying to learn to cut them down. But I think I've always been a spirited conversationalist, and it just feels very comfortable and easy. I have a very supportive, we're still small and we're growing, but I have a very supportive network of people. What stood out to me the most in this YouTube space is I've gotten so many emails from people. I would say I've been doing this actively now for maybe 4 months, 3.5, 4 months.
Okay.
And I literally have had 5 people now reach out and email me and tell me that they were going to unalive themselves until they heard my interview, one interview or the other. And all of them said a common theme. There's something in your voice. There's something in your spirit that made me know that I shouldn't quit. And I was just like that's super heavy.
It is
heavy. I was like, what?
That's major. It's
super heavy, and it makes me, and I know God is in the midst of it all, and it makes me sometimes I have an ease of communicating with people. I have an ease of talking, and when I get in here, I've done that one that I call the Nerd Herd Appreciation, where we just talked. People said stuff in the channel, we just talked, and whatever was in the comments, that's what we talked about, and they're pretty long, and because I feel so connected to people, and ultimately we live in a world where people will go to work, interact with their family, interact with business, interact with whatever, and still feel unheard and unseen.
And lonely. Yes.
Which I'm sure is with your channel, as well as I know here, people feel valued. They feel seen. People, I said, hey, if you ever want to talk to me, send me an email. When I tell you the amount of emails I get, there are people just saying, hey, just wanted to see if this was real. I put my number out once on an interview. I'm telling you, people call me with everything. And one guy that I stayed on the phone, my daughter was just like, Mommy, I love you so much. You're always so different. She's like, something about you is just different. I'm so proud you're my mother. This man was going through mania. He was having a manic episode and I know his entire life story. Wow. No shade or anything. It was like, my mama always watched you. She was listening to you and she keeps telling me about this lady. And she was, when I tell you, I've never heard anyone speak that fast. And he gave me.
That's what happens when they go through that. They
you know what? He doubled back and he was like, I know I was on one that day. Thank you for talking to me. Thank you for listening to me and not hanging up, not just pushing me away like most people do. And we talked a little more. He said, I wanted to tell you, I told you my mother watches you a lot. He's like, my mom passed away.
Oh, no.
And thank you. And I realized when he called me, his mother had just passed away. And so he needed to feel a sense of connection. I sat right there and I talked to him. And I didn't like, some people be like, yeah, okay. No, I talked to him. I was like, so what does your family think? Or do you have kids? Or who do you have in your family? Do you have anybody else that can stand in the gap like a mother figure? I talked to him because I know ultimately people want to be heard.
Yeah.
And I love the ability to be able to do that. Now, sometimes I sometimes we just be talking. I was like, look, if you ever need me, call me.
Right.
3 o'clock in the morning. Hello, Tanya. Oh, wow, you really answered this phone, girl. Like,
dang.
What's up?
But that's amazing, like, because you pretty much you're building community, and that's important as well.
Yes, indeed.
And with building community, that's gonna broaden your reach as well on YouTube. So that's really great. And you're gonna have those loyal day ones. Your nerd crew is gonna go hard for you. So that's definitely dope.
Indeed. I have one man. I promise you, I met him when I started. He saw me on I had just started my channel. He saw me on Tisa Tells. So help me God. We had some things in common. He got shot years ago.
Oh man.
And I said, I want to interview you. And things have been like really amping up lately. So it's been hard for me to kind of double back for certain things. And I still want to do it because I want to interview him for my docuseries Shot. I said, have you ever told your story? He was like, just to my friends and people around me. I said, no, you deserve to tell your story, brother. He got shot. Wow. I think he said it's been 40 or 50 years.
Oh, man.
But you need to tell your story, brother. And then my daughter's a beauty queen. His daughter was a beauty queen. We had so many things in common. Do you know he calls me all the time and check up on me? If something comes out, like a video, he'll be like, hey, honey, how you doing? I just want to let you know they talking about you, girl. And I'm so
you mentioned also you got a documentary coming out as well, right?
I started working on it actually before the pandemic, but the pandemic started interviewing people and stuff, and the pandemic shut us down. So the sizzle reel for my docuseries is on my channel. Anybody can go and watch it. It's the one that says SHOT. And SHOT is an acronym for Survivors Helping Others Through. God put it on my heart years ago to create this platform, and not necessarily on YouTube because it preceded YouTube. To create a safe space for people to reclaim their name, their story, without just being a 20-second news blurb. Like today in Detroit, a woman was shot and killed. Like we're more than that. We're more than the sum total of how we left this earth. So I want to be able to give people that. Tell me your story. I want your mama to be able to come on and say, my baby girl was a painter, or she liked this, or she baked cookies. Reclaim your identity and not just be a news blurb about a bullet. I think a bullet has so much power now. It is taking people's entire identities away, and you're just a statistic. And we are more than that. I am more than that. I am an amazing woman, and I got a story to tell. So
the reason why I asked, because I know some really big people with a huge production company. They do a lot of documentaries for Netflix, Hulu, and I actually just signed a deal. I'm actually going to be featured on one of their documentaries they got coming up. I'm gonna tell you more offline though, but I think that would be you
see how God is in the space right now. Like I love this, and I think, like you said, building a community. This is what it's all about. It's each one teach one. We live in a world where I wish more people would get one hand wash the other, both hands wash the face.
Yeah, your story is amazing, and I think that would be amazing. So we'll talk. Absolutely. We got each other now.
Absolutely. I try to, when you've been doing this for so long and walking this road is a lonely road, and it's like at one point I had to create this whole platform and program of how to heal from this sort of thing because I had nobody in the world to compare it to. Not only was I shot in the face, I was a business owner. I had 2 beauty salons when I got shot.
Oh, wow.
I was doing my thing. I was in my 20s owning businesses and doing my thing in New York when, and I keep reminding people, it's not this old IG, put such and such in the chat so I can send you my ebook for $27 and I'll tell you how to leverage $150,000 worth of business credit. No, back in the days where if you ain't have your Skrilla, nobody was talking to you. Renting commercial real estate in New York, back in the days, not cheap. Not cheap.
Well, you had to have that money back then.
I had 2 beauty salons because I know how to grind. I come from a strong, long line of women that are grinders, especially my mother. And, I was able to make something shake. I was a talented hairdresser. I specialized in hair weaving. Customers named me the track master. Went very far. Lots of people used to be like, they would see people be like, girl, I'm not trying to get in your business. I know that's a weave, but it's so flat. Who did that? And they'd be like, this is a track master. And they'd be like, the track master? Who's that? Where's she at? And I was viral before there was a social media.
Oh,
So,
man.
And that's in life for my skill as well as because of this case. If we had an IG back then,
It'd have been crazy.
I'd be so wealthy, none of these people would know me. I'd probably be off on an island somewhere. I promise you. I had clients that would fly in from Africa every 3 months, this group of women, to get their hair weaved.
Dang.
And here's the thing, I was always humble, but I ain't gonna front. As a hairstylist, I got customers flying in every 3 months from Africa. You know how much a ticket from Africa costs for a hair weave? And the tips were love. Shout out to my African massive. I don't know where y'all at now, but your girl still remembers you. It was a glorious time. You know, I was in the midst of everything that was popping, that everybody's recounting now and talking about from back in the days. I was in the middle of all of that. So, you know, but it was a time gone era. I love this spot better. I love this here now, this platform, this ability to talk to people, elevate people. I love it. What's your favorite part of it all?
I loved like the creative side, and also, you know, giving people a platform and telling people's story, you know, and allowing them to have that voice, because sometimes it may get lost in the sauce, and you know, you'll probably just hear a headline, but you never oftentimes get to meet the real people behind that headline and things like that. So I think that's really one of my favorite parts, and also just putting the information out in a way to where it sticks with people, like, you know, in terms of the way I edit, or maybe a sound effect, just something to kind of invoke that emotion, because I want people to really feel what these people are going through.
I'm gonna sign up for the Lionel B classes, because I what I need. My trusty dusty show producer I always talk about, it's my 17-year-old daughter.
Okay.
Give it here, mommy. I'll do it. Like, I be calling, make me a thumbnail. She's like, Mom, I got a quiz. I'm like, just do it real quick. She's in class. I'm like, just make it real quick. Mommy, I'm in class. I'm like, okay, you gotta go live. She's so thorough, because that's just their thing. You know, this generation, they know how to do all of that stuff.
Oh yeah.
So I would like a degree of independence in that regards. I've been able to do the fundamentals, the thumbnails that look very plain. You can tell those are ones I made. A little more graphic, she made those. So I'm getting there, but I want to tap into that Lionel B class.
Okay, for sure.
You're giving expert subject matter.
Thank you.
I think it's super good. Now, I don't know if you remember this. When we met on the Atwood show, I said something to you. God blessed me with a gift when you talked about your grandmother, talking about how special you were. I had a situation like that too. My grandmother and her friend, they grew up in Trinidad together, lost contact, found each other again in America. And I was there at my grandmother's house one day, and her friend Jean Smith, and my grandmother is Vivian Amelia Mead, Grandma Boob, and I always have to big them up. So special in my life. God rest both of their souls. She said to my grandmother, Vivi, you need to watch this one. You got to watch over her. She's special. My grandmother said, I know, she has the gift. And Jean said, come over here to me, young lady. And I walked over to her, and she literally looked at me and held my chin and said, people will come from far and wide to hear you speak someday.
Oh,
I was 5.
Man. You were 5?
I was 5 when she said that.
Oh, that's deep.
But it always stuck, because it's like, you know how just like you said, you had times where you knew God was in the midst. When God presents himself and says, stick a pin here, you're going to need this later. That stayed in my head forever. And I realized through everything I had to endure through for a time such as this, what a beautiful unfolding of such a gift. Like, totally, it could have been an innocuous moment that I forgot, but it was so special I couldn't forget it. I'm 54. She said that when I was 5.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
that's a calling right there.
It's a calling.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember when I first met you, I said, brother, you have an ancestor that's walking with you.
Yeah, I do. I remember that.
I felt it. I could feel it instantly. I said, you have an ancestor walking with you. You told us afterwards that your mom passed away towards the end of that conversation. Yes. But for God, I could have not, there's no way I could have known that. But I feel her presence so strong with you. And do you feel her presence strong with you? Are you aware of that, or what's your take on that?
Sometimes I do. Sometimes I guess I'm a little out of tune at times, but you know, when my mind is able to be settled and be more susceptible, then yeah, sometimes I'll feel her, especially if I feel like I'm not doing enough, I'm not grinding hard enough, then she'll pop in and be like, hey, you need to get your ass up and get to it. What's going on?
Yeah, her presence is super heavy around you, and I get the energy and the feeling that she is so proud of you. And
I
you
heard
took
that
me.
the other day. My sister told me that. She's like, I know mom is like super proud of you, bro.
She is, and I thought it was so dope when you said prior to her passing, you got to be able to buy her favorite car.
Yes.
What a beautiful thing.
Yes, that was like my proudest moment. And I put the video out on YouTube. It's on my channel, but I can't even watch it. Like it makes me.
I'm gonna go watch it.
It breaks me down, you know, when I watch it. So, but I was just really happy that I was able to do that for her. I was gonna get her the house next, but you know, she's in a better house now, I'm sure.
Hey, Asheo. Let me tell you something. It is not lost on me that a lot of times, ultimately, the one thing that we're all going to do in this world, like before we used to say, stay black and die. Now, cosmetic bleaching creams and stuff, you ain't even got to be black. But we are going to pass away, all of us. Right. And it is not lost on me. And I am simply giving this message only because it's been given to me and God said to say it to you. Your mom was able to go home and go to glory because she knew you were okay. And that's so dope. Like you have your own personal angel walking with you. And I don't mean to make you vulnerable or emotional, but I was told to tell you that. She was able to rest because she knew you were okay.
What a dope. And I thought about that too. I thought that, you know, had she thought I was maybe struggling in life, maybe the situation would have been a lot different. But I feel like once she saw it was to a point to where I would have been.
Okay. Shout out to you for being okay. Shout out for you to believing in yourself, for standing in that gap for your son, for yourself, for your mom. We need more men like you. You are an inspiration to brothers out here. I'm telling you. They may not necessarily, we know our brothers may not necessarily be as verbal and be like, yo, bro, I'm looking up to you. I'm looking up to what you did. But I know they watch you and they feel that because I get a sense of pride. I was so impressed with you. And listen, I can be a bit of a skeptic. I'm from Brooklyn. We look at but there are a few people that I've encountered in this, and you are definitely one of them. Like, there's something absolutely special about you.
Thank you.
Absolutely special about you. So when I call you 3 o'clock in the morning, excuse me, Lionel.
And I might be up. Most of the time I'm up, and you know, I love what I do. Like even when I'm resting, I'm not resting. I'm actually producing shows in my head. Like I'll lay down and close my eyes and I'll produce like a whole show in my head. Wow. And then get up, write it out. And then, you know, that's the videos that you guys see, like everything from the editing, all of it's done in my head first. And then I put it out there.
Well, they say geniuses are nocturnal. Most geniuses are.
Oh, I guess.
For years,
that's accomplished. I mean, that's a huge
geniuses are nocturnal. Listen, people think that genius means you have to be in some mainstream form of education to display. No, it comes in all forms and fashion. It is not lost on me that you are clearly a genius.
And you know what? I told my dad that, not to toot my own horn, but my dad, he has a doctorate in education, right? Smart dude. He's Dr. Barnes. That's his name. So he was always telling me, you know, in my 20s, teens, oh, you need to go to college. You need to go to college. So I recently asked him, probably like maybe 3 years ago. I'm like, Dad, you still think I did bad by not going to school? Nah, you did really good. Just remember where God brought you from. So I'm like, well, thank you, Dad. You know, because for a while, he really made me feel bad that I didn't want to go to college. I just honestly, the things I wanted to do in college, once I was, you know, got a little bit older, I knew I wanted to be, you know, editing videos, music production. So I did all of that on my own. I got Billboard plaques right now. I was on the Billboard charts. So not only YouTube, I do music as well. So I got plaques on that. Hit the iTunes chart, you know, viral on YouTube. And, you know, I taught myself how to do these things. I taught myself music. I taught myself how to edit video. I taught everything that I could have went and spent all this money for getting an education. I taught myself.
That is super dope. That is super dope.
Thank
And
you.
those are gifts because I can relate. You know, when I'm downstairs in my office and people see the DITR behind me, that's
Mhm.
one of my businesses, the Diamond in the Rough.
Okay.
I do reupholstery. I self-taught.
wow.
I literally spoke it into existence. I wanted a French provincial couch for my salon, couldn't find one online, found an old one that was vintage and toe up, went and got it, hired a guy to drive the truck and go get it in South Georgia and did it over. People in my shop used to be like, yo, if I didn't see you do this, nobody could tell me you did this. Because they was like, you gonna destroy that girl. You don't know how to do no furniture. I said, yes, I do. They said, who taught you how to do furniture? I said, nobody. They said, so why you think you're gonna do it? I said, I told myself I could do it.
That's amazing.
We all have gifts. We can speak everything into existence. Life is in the power of the tongue. You either speak life or death. And you got to believe it to make it happen. We got to live in state. My daughter is big on that. She'd be like, live in state. Don't say, I'm gonna do this. Say, I do this. Your brain doesn't know the difference. Your brain doesn't know that you want to do it or you're not doing it yet. So if you say you do it, your brain will make it happen. And my daughter is 17. She's been espousing this since she was 13, 14. Mommy, live in state. You got this. Live in state. I have lived in state and done a ton of things. And we can all. I already proclaimed. One day I was, YouTube sends you the little emails. This is creator, this and create. And I looked and I was like, what do I got to do to get one of these plaques? Like, oh, I'm getting a plaque. I done set the date already and everything.
Claim that thing. That's what I'm talking about.
I told my daughter, I said, I have a YouTube plaque. She said, already? I said, in state. She was like, touche, mommy, touche. I got one already. I have one already. So I'm living in state. I love it here. I think we've been blessed to be able to be in this realm and doing this great thing. And it's so dope. Tell us what's on the horizon for you. What's next up for you?
Definitely, of course, more content on YouTube. I mean, like you said, we love it here. Definitely want to open up my platform to give more people an opportunity to tell their story if it makes sense. I'm not going to say I'm just going to interview everybody. I can't do that. But if it makes sense, and definitely trying to keep up, with the integrity of the content, making sure people are entertained, making sure we're bringing on the right people, and we're sending the right message out. I don't want to be like some of these other YouTubers that really try their best to tear down people. Yeah, which I'm not going to name drop, but we know a few of them that got recently sued for trying to tear down people. I don't want to do that type of content, but that I'm going to be moving more into film and television. Been getting offers on that. That's something I always wanted to do, and the offers are coming in now, so I'm really excited about that.
That's so dope because you made a space for yourself and you stood by it. That's why you're getting the blessings of what it yields. You're getting the fruit of the tree because you stood there and planted the seeds and watered it. It don't get better than that. It doesn't get better than that.
It was 10 years in the making, but God had to move when it was his time, not when I wanted it to happen.
Absolutely. So. And 10 years? Wow.
Yeah, because I was in really like trying to do documentaries way back in the day when I didn't have no money. Like, it was funny. But I wanted to. I was really good at it. I just didn't have, back then I didn't have the means or any of that. But I think I was practicing, that was my time to sharpen my skill to kind of, to get to where I'm at now.
Practice makes perfect. I keep telling people I tell people, what are you willing to do even if you never get $1 for it? And then they say, oh, well, I love such and such. I say, do that, because then it's effortless. It's effortless. You never feel like you work a day in your life.
There you go. I was just thinking that.
You never feel like you work a day in your life. So what an amazing thing. Lionel,
it just doesn't feel like work at all, man. This feels like just a great time, a big party.
That's what I think about it as well. I love it. Let me tell you something. I know you're a busy man. I don't want to take up all your time, but in conclusion, you have anything to say to the people? Tell them where they can follow you. Tell them all those good things and have your say, brother. Do your thing.
Okay. Now, guys, in wrapping this up, I want all of you aspiring YouTubers or content creators. I don't care if it's YouTube or Instagram or TikTok. It's all about consistency. Don't focus so much on the numbers, because small wins are still wins. Yeah. So, even if you put your first video out, you only get a few views. Take that as a learning moment. How can I make this better? How can I make this better? Because some things we just can't make better. It just is what it is. But learn from each piece of content. Learn how people interact with it. keep going, stay consistent. Don't get down like, damn, nobody cares, nobody watching my content. Because trust me, if you stay consistent, you know, you're gonna make it. So that's
Brother,
what I want to tell you guys. That was on my heart to tell y'all.
Thank you so much. And let me tell you something. When I tell you I appreciate you so much, I literally went and looked on your page and learned so much. I did a crash course in Lionel B. And I absolutely am so thoroughly impressed with you. And I tell you, I say it all the time, I'm a skeptic. It's hard to impress me, but I'm very impressed with you. And I look forward to the blossoming of this friendship and what it's going to become. And I look forward to learning from you. And I'm going to make you proud, teacher. You'll be my YouTube sensei.
There you go. There you go. You know, that's funny you brought that up, because actually I was putting together like courses to teach you know, people on YouTube how to do it. Seemed like nobody really cares. So I'm like, okay, well,
listen. I think you should. I think you should. You have demonstrated a level of excellence that people can only hope to aspire to, hope to live in state for. So absolutely do that. And that's God in the midst. That's probably why it came out of my life, because God wanted to tell you confirmation. Go ahead and do that. I'll be the first one to sign up for your class.
Yeah, I would rather a small class, because I think I try to put it out there on a larger scale. I probably would have been overwhelmed, but I would rather like a smaller class so that way I can really focus on everybody.
Yep.
And get it going.
I promise you, I'm not here like, I got technical difficulties. Like, because I never want to come across as, oh, I'm not paying attention to them, or I'm not paying attention to the chat. It feel like a little ADHD with the ticker rolling at the bottom and the comment. Like, so I'm still walking that fine line of getting it down pat, and I only hope to aspire to your greatness.
Thank you. You got a good teacher, so let me know when you're ready. Rock out.
Listen, I'm gonna bring an apple and everything.
Okay.
Apples that you like? I'm partial to Honey Crisp.
I like the green ones. What are those? The Granny Smiths, little sour. Yeah.
I'll bring the Granny Smith. I'll be front and center. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. How dope of you to be here with us on our small little channel. Thank you.
Oh, nah, it ain't small. It ain't small. Well, look, by next year, you're gonna be banging. You're gonna be.
You know what somebody told me, and I was so in awe of it. Somebody said, "Let me tell you something, woman. You're so great and so different. In less than a year, you're gonna look back on your life. You're not gonna recognize your old life. God has called you here to something." And I had to sit with that. Like, I laid down in the bed and was just thinking about it. Like, huh, God, what? Am I ready? Make me ready, Lord.
Right.
And I just talked to God and said, make the words out of my mouth of you. Now, you know, I keep telling people I'm a spiritual woman, but every now and then the flesh rise up. I was a little frog today, but it's my faith. I got so many compliments, because people's like, yo, thank you for just coming raw and and I always do, but thank you for your humor, your everything. We appreciate that. So I loved what I do. I love what I do, and I'm glad.
And my piece of advice be for you, when you get there, just make sure you cherish every single day and remember those other times as well.
I do.
Because other times when we get there, we kind of get caught up in just being there and going up. We kind of forget about this part, and we forget about, you know, the moment now. So I have to tell myself that a lot, you know, like, bruh, you started from zero like everybody else, you know.
Thank you. And I think that would be a very easy thing for me to attain and live on, because that's me in everyday life. That's really me in everyday life. So Amen. I am honored. I am honored to be in your presence, to be your star pupil. Now, I'm a nerd, so you know I'm the star pupil. You heard me say I'm bringing an apple. At learning, if learning was crack, I'll be pookie, strung out, because I love learning, I love information.
Me too.
Thank you so much, Lionel. You are welcome here anytime. You're an official nerd. You are a part of the nerd herd. And anytime you want to come, nerd gang. And I am absolutely, if you want me to come on your channel, I'll be there with the quickness.
Okay.
And I look forward to it. And all the things that we're going to do together, we'll talk offline, but I appreciate it. This has been such a. Everybody in the chat, make sure you give our brother some love. Salutations.
Y'all can follow me on the Lionel B Show on YouTube or on Instagram, official Lionel B.
Hey, thank you so much. You have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you more and more, and what we will build in the future.
For sure. Thank you. You as well.
Thank you. I appreciate you. What did I do? Did I do it right? I think I might have froze. Hold on. Let me plug up my computer. I'm not sure if I did that right, guys. Hey, that was spectacular. First of all, we learned so much. Let your girl put her readers back on now so I can see these comments. You know I can't see none of these comments with my stunners on. They just for stunting. How's the chat going? Shout out. Absolutely. Shout out to the dopest mod who is always in the house keeping things in order, guys. Give me your feedback. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. I appreciate you. Tell me what was some of the most pivotal parts of the interview that stood out to you guys. Oh, thank you, the ultimate mixtape. Let me put you up there. Absolutely. I want to feature some comments. All of y'all, make sure you all go and like our brother Lionel B. If you don't already follow him. Hold on, somebody coming to my door. Who's that? Oh, child. Girl. I'm on live. You scared me, girl. I'm so sorry. Oh, Lottie Daddy was about to party. Oh. Everything's okay, guys. That was the trusty dusty producer coming home early, girl. All I heard was that kick on my keyboard. I was like, who's that? Wusa, thank you for patience, because my gosh. Ooh, yeah, party. Look at the dopest mod said, let's party. Whew. Listen, Anita, let me put your comment on the stage. I was worried too. I was like, hold on. I heard the keypad on my front door. And what made you come home early? When have you ever come home early?
You told me you needed me to come home early.
Yeah, well, this is really early. Come say hi to your family. Look at the trusty dusty. Look at your trusty dusty show producer, y'all. Say hi to your niece, guys.
Like my hair, mommy?
Yes, cute. This is Nirvana, everybody.
I'm sorry, y'all. Oh, man.
Oh, my goodness. She had me a little shooketh for a minute, but to God be the glory. Ooh, child. Y'all was about to get alive. Alive like you never thought before. Oh, my goodness. But all is well. All is quiet on the Western Front. Oh, Vana Chester said, hey, my beautiful niecey Pooh. Thank you. She's such an amazing young lady. I know y'all hear me talk about her all the time. I don't know what I would do without that girl. She is the trusty dusty show producer. She's the baker, kids baking champ. She is everything. What an amazing. Oh, listen, let me tell you something. Let me put this on the screen. I promise you, that is how I met Lionel. That's the story he told. I met him on another platform. I believe it was the Sean Atwood platform. And Lionel told his story. They said, oh, Natanya, we want you to hear Lionel's story. And when he said that, I promise you, he lived in my spirit since then. I was like, wow, what an amazing, what an amazing story. Can you imagine? That's why I tell you people, beauty from ashes, beauty from ashes. Sometimes we are in the midst of our greatest storms, and it's there where we meet God and we find our way in the midst of our greatest storms. I promise you, I've been so touched by him. I said, wow, say less. So inspiring, so inspiring. But it's the dedication to your child. It is the dedication to love. It is the dedication to all of that. Thank you so much, Corey Lott. I appreciate you. Corey Lott said, you're a great inspiration. I really love your faith. Thank you so much. It has gotten me through. I promise you. When I tell you this here faith has gotten me through. And I wouldn't even know what to do without it. When I say the faith of a mustard seed, truly. Thank you so much. Michi said, I can relate. She's a beautiful young lady. She is so dope. She is so, I have to say, like I say all the time, I hit the womb Powerball. Okay? Them 5 numbers and that Powerball, I hit the womb Powerball with my children. The most amazing children. My 2 sons are adults. They are magnificent men, business owners, gainfully employed, have families, doing their thing. Just amazing, amazing men. I always say for my children, if I wasn't their mother, I would still be their friend. Super dope. Super dope. My son has a channel, The Wicked Fresh Group. Go follow him. He's a content creator. He's also a web developer. So he makes websites and all that stuff. If you need graphics, he does all of that. Go check him. Go follow him. And I'm going to put his stuff in the link so you guys can follow him. If you ever need stuff done, and he does it from a personal perspective, he will sit there and go through an entire consultation with you. You describe what it is that you want, and and he will produce what you need and guide you through it. Not like a lot of places that'll just take your money, make a thing, and then you're stranded 6 months later. Like, how do I get into my back office or whatever? He's going to walk through with it. He'll do hosting with you and everything. So definitely check him out. He's super dope. That's my oldest son, Donovan. He's super talented. Check him out. And my middle son, he don't like none of this public stuff. He like, count me out of this YouTube stuff. But he is remarkable, and he blessed me with an amazing granddaughter. Oh, she's my grandma baby. I love her so much. And my daughter-in-law, I have the best daughter-in-law in the world. When I see these TV shows and people like, oh, my daughter-in-law, my daughter-in-law is so dope. My daughter-in-law's name is Marley. She is the dopest daughter-in-law in the entire world. I love her so much. My son and my daughter-in-law have done an amazing job with my granddaughter. My granddaughter is a genius. I said it she's a genius. One day I was sitting in the living room and I said, she was dancing and doing this little stuff. And I said, oh, Kennedy, pass me that green bag. And so she's looking around and going, where, Grandma, where? And it was literally at the edge of the coffee table, leaning onto the coffee table on the floor. I said, right there. She's looking around doing this big dramatic, where, Grandma? And I was looking at her like, what is, I said, girl, right there at the coffee table. She gonna look down and go, this is teal. Clutched pearls and gagged. The bag was actually teal. She like, you got me out here looking for a green bag. It's teal. She was 7 then. I had to clutch pearls, girl. When I tell you I laughed, I tell that story so many times. Another time I was like, Kennedy, give me a Kroger bag over there. She looking. I said, over there in the kitchen, go get it. She was walking through the kitchen and the dining room, coming back around the foyer, coming back to the family room, walking. I said, what are you doing? She's like, where? I said, right there. She's talking about, this is Walmart. What? We know we meant plastic bag. My girl is specific to the nth degree. She said, this is a Walmart bag. You said Kroger. All I could do was laugh. I said, baby, teal, honey, teal. 7. This is not green, Grandma. This is teal. But when I tell you the pearls was clinkling, I was clutching pearls like, okay. I love it. And I thank God for, while I'm happy that God saved me in every degree, he saved me so that I could get to see exponential levels of love with my grandchild. This is the exponent of my child. My gosh, what an amazing experience. I absolutely love it. She teaches me so many things. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Point blank guns and ammo. Second Amendment in the house. Woo-woo. I appreciate that. Be sure to leave a review. Anybody who buys the book, you guys, be sure to leave a review so we can run those reviews and likes up. And yes, honey, she is divine. Do you hear me? She is divine, Sister Soul. I love this child so much. She keeps me so young. And, you know, I always talk about how I'm about to be an empty nester. And I was so stressed, like, oh my God, I love being a mother. What am I going to do? And then I was like, well, at least I have my grandma baby. And my son was like, oh Lord, Mom, please, because I go ham. I had a 4th birthday for her and it ended up landing in the pandemic. So we had Kennedy's birthday extravaganza. I bought her because we couldn't invite anybody to her party. So it was me, Kennedy, and my daughter. I bought her so many gifts. My son and my daughter-in-law was like, don't ever do this again. Nobody can live up to this. You are setting an unrealistic expectation. Do not ever do this again. I bought her a bike for home, bike for here. She had a scooter for home, scooter for here. All types of stuff. We decorated the backyard. We had this whole thing. We had a piñata. We went hamburger. Guama baby. That's right. And I promise you, my son was like, don't ever let this happen again. My granddaughter now, that level is so high. She'll be like, Grandma, you know my birthday's coming up. Are we having another extravaganza? Like, we got to tone it down a little. You can get the book. Yes, you can order it from France. It's on Barnes & Noble. The link, the Dopest Mod will put the link in the chat. You can buy it directly from Ingram Spark, where I published the book. Shout out to Maggie. Hey, Maggie. Maggie the Black Owl. Shout out to Maggie, guys. You can get it from Ingram Spark, where I published, the platform I published on. So the link will be in the chat. But you can also get it on Kindle. You can get it on Barnes & Nobles and wherever you buy books. It's in a whole bunch of retailers. If you don't see it in their stock, ask for it and they'll get it. And be sure to leave a review. Yeah, her parents are right. I stay in my place. Her parents are right. But I just had to do it. I had to. It was her 4th birthday and it was the pandemic. Yes, being a grandma is the most adorable thing in the world. Yep. Listen, I can't wait to that 16th extravaganza, honey. And people used to tease me with Nirvana because she was my first daughter, my only daughter. When she was little, oh my gosh, my son used to make a joke and say that I ended the, what was it called? When we had I forget the term that they use, but he literally was like, I was the one that set the economy back on its balance when everything went down in America from buying stuff for my daughter. Like, I can't get enough for her. She's just the dopest. And so is my granddaughter. All my kids. I literally, what you said, you bought a wading pool in the kitchen? I bought the wading pool in the kitchen one winter for the grandkids. Hey, listen, I know you've been in trouble. Listen, that grandma trouble is divine. It is divine, and I can't get enough of it, and I have no problem being in it. It's something so special. Yeah, there's a few books. So it's a Shot in the Dark by Natanya Rubin. It is just so amazing. It's just so amazing. I love being a grandma. Thank God that God saw fit to save me so that I could be in my granddaughter's life. My husband, God rest his soul, passed away, but he was here when she was born. And, you know, she got to spend time with her grandpa. They went to different, you know, she got to spend time with her grandpa. And so it was in the height of that baby shark. And she named her grandpa Grandpa Shark. And he absolutely loved that name. You would think it was created specifically for him. She loved her grandpa so much. And even to this day, when she walks in the house, we have his ashes on a stand. We have a big picture of him and everything. And I'm going to tell you something. She walks in the house, she'd be like, hi, Grandpa Shark. And she always screams out and talks to Grandpa Shark. And I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, I have books for kids as well. So I wrote a book called Nirvana Socks. We wrote that years ago. It's about a precocious 8-year-old girl who has a fascination with socks. It's available on Amazon. Look up Nirvana Socks. And to make it easier to find it, you can put Nirvana Socks book or Nirvana Chronicles, and it'll come up. Nirvana Socks Chronicles. And I wrote 2 more children's books. They're about to come out. One is for my nephew, Hammy. Well, his initials spell out ham, so we call him Hammy. And he's always a fix-it guy. He has this little toy tool belt thing, and he walks around with it on. And I promise you, I wrote a book called Handy Hammy Gets It Done. And then I wrote a book for Kennedy called Little Kennedy Rubin. What are you doing? Because she comes to my house and she has her own room here and everything. And, did somebody say something about Nirvana? Oh, okay. Nirvana socks. SOCKS. So many, she comes here and she gets really quiet and she's off making slime or doing something. So I came up with this idea in my head that whenever she comes to grandma's house, she goes in grandma's she shed, and grandma was a famous singer and a dancer. All her costumes and all her props are in the she shed. And whenever she goes into the she shed, if she tries something on, it takes her back in time. And she goes back to a time where grandma was performing and she solves a crime or solves a mystery or something. And it's so amazing. It is so amazing. Oh, thank you. That's how Nirvana's hair was. Her hair was this big, massive, curly afro, and I used to stick a flower in it because one of my favorite artists is Lady Sings the Blues. And she always had the white gardenia in her hair. Billie Holiday, the incomparable Billie Holiday, who was served such a raw deal in life, but she had a role to play. And by the grace of God, she got her redemption when Andra Day played her and told the real story of Billie Holiday, and not this fictitious, propaganda machine that they tried to set against Billie Holiday. Billie Holiday was helping the underground movement of Black revolutionaries and funding them, and they wanted to punish her. And that's what they did. And they told us this horrific story about her. And guess what? She was such an amazing person. Yes, it's Nirvana Socks, the Nirvana Chronicles. It's a series of books. The next Nirvana Chronicle book coming out is Nirvana in the Case of the Disappearing Ice Cubes. And my conventional wisdom was that I wanted to be able to teach kids things like science and stuff like that, and be able to teach them without them knowing they're learning. Because when you make it fun, they're easier to grasp it. And so that's where the Nirvana and the Disappearing Ice Cubes was born. Yeah, Billie Holiday is so amazing. My stepdad was a jazz musician. There was times where he played with Miles Davis and some of the greats. And Billie Holiday was one of the songs he played the most. And I promise you, I have loved her ever since. And Iyanla Van Zant was my dance teacher. And we had our dance group was in the semifinals of a dance competition, a national dance competition. And somebody had to, in the dance class, we had to battle to see who was going to get the solo. And I ended up getting the solo, and the song that was played, we didn't get a chance or a choice in the song. The song that was played was God Bless the Child That Got His Own. And when I tell you, it went into me and through me and came out through my extremities, and I danced my butt off, and I won the right to do the solo. And boy, oh boy, that song was God Bless the Child That Got His Own. And that is the story of my life. Your mama may have, and your papa may have, but God bless the child that got his own. Rich relations are crust of bread and such. You can have it, but don't you take too much. Your mama may have, your papa may have, but God bless the child that got his own. And all of you guys, remember that. Very dope. Listen, I say dope for everything. Thank you, Rondo Ellsworth. I say dope for everything. Super dope. When you reach the pinnacle of pinnacles, super dope. I thank you all for spending time with the Dopest Nerd. If you'd like to support our channel with Cash App, you can. The cash tag is $THADOPESTNERD, the Dopest Nerd. I appreciate you. Yes, her life was very inspiring. Her life was very inspiring. And I thank you so much. Thank you guys. I love that. Thank you so much. You guys are amazing. Like, you just make it all. I think this is a beautiful way to cap off our fantastic show with Lionel B. That brother is deep. He has so much gems and so much jewels to share with the world. Please make sure that you guys follow him, like, subscribe to his channel. Make sure that you share and go over and visit him. Check him out. Oh, the trusty Dusty show producer is home. So I'm going to go and spend some time with her, guys. I appreciate you so much. As always, it is an absolute super dope is dope. It's a special exclamation point to put on things. It lets people know, listen, this is special. I'm checking for this. And let's make it. I'm a merch coming soon. Merch coming soon, guys. Merch coming soon. Yes, I'm a dancer as well. Ballet, jazz, modern dance, kabuki theater, everything. Tap. What is it? What did I say? Gene, what? Gene Deal is mad at Lionel B. Oh, well, too bad for Gene Deal. We mad at him too. We mad at Gene Deal because he be telling 2 lies and 2 truths and 7 lies. And ain't nobody got time for that. And guys, if you should so choose to join the channel, please become a member today. The Dopest Nerd has 3 package levels starting at $3.99. And you'll get member perks. We're working all of that out to give you guys special badges and emojis and all types of stuff. And we are giving away free t-shirts to the people that come on to become a member for a limited amount. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys for being here. The 3 levels are the Poindexters, we have the Urkels, and we have the Encyclopedia Browns. Like when I say your girl is a nerd, true nerd, and I love it. I really, really appreciate you guys for being here. You could have been anywhere in the world, especially on a Saturday afternoon, but you chose to be here with your Nerd Herd family, and we love you for it. Be sure to collect your chargers on the way out. Put your glasses in the sink. Don't be putting no rings on the table now. You know your grandmother said use a coaster. Be sure to put your fuzzy socks in the empty basket by the front door. Grab your shoes, and see you guys when we come back around. Thank you so much for being here. I thoroughly appreciate it. As always, I enjoy you guys. I'm going to figure out how to leave the chat comments on the channel on the show so people can still read those chats. I haven't figured this whole YouTube thing out, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Baby steps, baby steps. You can email me at thedopestnerd@gmail.com. Everything is The Dopest Nerd. THADOPESTNERD. thedopestnerd@gmail.com. And I appreciate it. You guys are amazing, super dope. I feel so much love from you guys, and I appreciate it. I feel so much love. Thank you so much. And I love you guys right back. Thank you. I appreciate it. Listen, the landscape there's enough to go around on YouTube for everybody. The landscape is ripe. Anything that you seek, you can find. By all means, just go and that's okay. I realize that because so many people have been writing Natalia, and I was like, it must be an autocorrect thing. Just, switch that L to an N. And I thank you, Katya. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm learning, getting my YouTube toes wet, and it feels good. It feels good. I thank you guys so much. Hey, Gordon Jackson. See you on the other side, boo. I love you guys too. You guys rock so much. You my cousins. I love you so much. Uh-oh, I see a little Canada flag. Shout out to my Canada family. I have cousins in Canada. They live in T-Dot and Mississauga. I love it. Once again, guys, I'm signing out. And look out for our thumbnails. Be sure to like, share, subscribe. When you sign off for this video, be sure to post our links and stuff and post the videos on your socials and share with about 4 or 5 friends so that they can join the family as well. To the replay gang, holla, hey, hey, hey. And I will see you guys again. Thank you thank you so much. Thank you. Somebody said just joined from the Sean Atwood show. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. You have an amazing weekend as well. Thank you so much. Absolutely email me. I'm looking out for your emails. And trust me, between myself and the Dopest Mod, we read them all personally. Thank you so much for saying that. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you. You could have been anywhere in the world and you chose to spend it with me, and that means the world to me. Make sure your notifications are on so you don't miss a thing. Make sure you come back. And as always, shout out to the dopest mod, who is, in fact, the dopest mod on top of it. Shout out to my prayer warrior, my armor bearer, Chessa. I love her, like cook food. And I love you guys. My Nerd Herd family, signing off.